Good morning. Based on the video I made on APR last, I received a lot of messages asking me to make a second video on my thoughts on how to run an APR or an annual performance review. So this is what I used to do, and I strongly recommend the same. It has worked for me all over the world in a very positive and productive manner. Okay, so let's get started. The very first thing is we have to invite the person over, or now with COVID, we are most likely going to do it virtually. I recommend a very non-official setting. So maybe in your living room or a background that does not have a computer or a desk or whatever. Now, if you have to have your laptop open, sure, have it on your lap. So very, very relaxed. It's a discussion, right? There are not gonna be any surprises to the employee. So we have to make sure that he or she is completely relaxed. A good trick that I use, especially virtually, is I have a mug of coffee or tea or whatever, just to give that vibe. Gentlemen, guys, if you're wearing ties, I recommend take your ties off, or at least the jackets off, roll up your sleeves. Ladies, if you're wearing blazers, I recommend something more casual, like a blouse or something, okay? So put the employee at complete ease. Now, like I said before in my last video, if you were doing your job correctly, meaning you have been giving feedback throughout the year to your employee, there will be no surprise. So some managers, I know, they have notes on the employees and they gather these notes and they say, oh, I'm going to discuss this at the end of the year. I'm going to tell her at the end of the year. No, it should be, ongoing. So once this is done, once the person gets in or virtually because of COVID, we have the one-on-one discussion and we start off with all the great things they did. So all the positive impact he or she has had on the department, on their role. So we start off with the good and we leave with the good. And in the middle, we give the feedback. So the minute the person enters the conversation, he or she will hear something positive. And before they leave the conversation, they will also hear something positive. And in between, again, is where we give them the feedback. I would recommend no more than 40% is spent on the current year, because it's things they should already know because you have spoken to them throughout the year. So I would talk about what great things they've done in the beginning. That's one. Then two, ask them if they felt they have any feedback on their performance, what challenges they have had. And we go through their KPIs one by one and see how we can work together. This is a counseling session, people. I repeat, this should be a counseling session and not an assessment session, okay? They should understand that this is a discussion and on how they're going to perform better the following year. So then we ask the questions about the KPIs, we understand what they have done, we give them our rating, what we feel they have done, and of course you would have their self-assessment, so we get their rating as well, and we make a comparison. And we show them my point of view, and they show us their point of view, and we might alter the rate and negotiate and understand why they have to perform in a certain way. Now keep in mind, contributors or individual contributors, ICs, they don't see the big picture the way leaders do, right? The way we do. We see things from a holistic point of view, from a bird's eye view. So more on strategy development, things for the future. They understand their KPIs for this year, for this particular project or the fiscal year. They don't see things 2-3 years in advance. That's because they're not expected to, right? We build our plan for year 2, year 3, year 4. So we have a direction in which we're going. So you might let them know that the reason why you gave them a score they don't agree with is based on a future projection or what the future tasks might look like. So keep that in mind. Then after that, it is all about development. How can we develop? What can I do as a manager to develop you? How can I be more available for you? What resources can I make available to you? Very key, extremely important. These areas are very, very important. We are managers, we are leaders, we lead these people, right? They do not understand that we don't see things the way they do, but we have to make that very clear, okay? Then the rest of the conversation should be geared around next year. Okay, so these are your new KPIs for 2021. What can we do? Where do you think you can add value? Where do you believe you might need some resources, some support from me? How can I provide that support to you? Make your KPIs and objectives very clear. Don't have them doubting, walking away from the APR, not completely understanding, what is expected. Let them know what is expected. Okay. Now, we are in COVID. These are tough times. So please, like I said in my last video, be be very compassionate, be very understanding, be very tolerant to the new ways. So we need to get very creative in understanding how can we support our employees during these tough times. Now, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please comment below and let me know, and I will get back to you. Thank you again for your feedback, and I'll see you soon.